What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video, and it is team selection time for Game Week 7. So I am going to go through how I did in Game Week 6. Spoiler alert, what the hell was that week? It was so bad for so many people. If you got like 40 points plus this week, you had a good week. If you got 60, 70, it was an amazing week. Should have been some massive green arrows, but I will go through my awful week because it was pretty damn bad. So I'm going to go through Game Week 6, look ahead to Game Week 7. I've got 2 free transfers to spend, definitely looking to spend at least one of them. So I'm going to talk through what my options are, captaincy, and that kind of thing. So if you enjoy this video, just give me a sympathy like, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button because of the awful week. We're obviously going to go again. I'm here every single week, whether it's good or bad. This week, definitely bad. So sympathy like, sympathy subscription button hits, and let's talk about One Football. So One Football are back once again for the team selection videos. If you haven't already downloaded it, what are you waiting for? Completely free, Android, iOS, everybody's got a smartphone. You can easily download it for free. Handy link in the description below. Here's what I want you to do this week. Whether you've downloaded it already or if you haven't, get it downloaded, send me a screenshot of once it's done, and let me know some of your favourite features. Some of you have already been tweeting me, leaving comments below on YouTube as well, but let me know some of your favourite features. Like I keep saying, one of mine is the goal notifications on a weekend when I'm not on my computer, when I'm not watching on TV. Unfortunately, there was only one this week, and that was Son, and I was already watching at that point. So that was a hugely frustrating weekend, but it was nothing to do with One Football, not their fault whatsoever. So get it downloaded, give me a tweet, and send me a screenshot. Let me know some of your favourite features. What an absolute disaster Game Week 6 was. And the annoying thing was, I actually seem pretty happy about it. These kind of weeks, right, you just have to laugh about them. And it's so cliche, but a lot of people are in the same boat, right? A lot of people got bailed out by Son and Kane. Not Bale, ironically, but they got bailed out by Son and Kane in the last game. The rest of it was just completely awful, especially if you captain Salah, whoever it might have been. I mean, even Kane captain wasn't great. By the end of the week, it actually probably looked quite good, getting 5 points converted into 10. But even he wasn't the greatest or the greatest captain this week. So you have to kind of laugh these weeks off. When you get like 20 or 30 points and everyone else is getting 70 or 80, they are really bad weeks. I certainly wouldn't be smiling then. But these kind of weeks where everyone's in a similar boat, not so bothered about it. It was a 300,000 rank drop though, so I went from 204k to 506k. Not happy about that at all. But I think I'm only 60 odd points away from the top 10k, so that is how close it is even at this stage of the season. Just to quickly go through how bad it was, nothing went right, basically. James Rodriguez, we thought he might miss out, then we thought he might play. He played. Everton were awful, by the way. Southampton, I mean, let's not take any credit away from Southampton. They were brilliant. They did not let Everton play, but yeah, Everton just didn't get going, and then obviously Calvert-Lewin got his yellow card towards the end. Lamptey gets a yellow card. It's fine. He's got a clean sheet up until about the 80th minute. Then he loses his. Trent loses his to a penalty that probably should never have been. Mitchell lost his clean sheet in, what, the 94th, 95th minute? Annoyingly, I was saying that Dallas, I would have been happy to play Dallas, right? I said it on stream. I'd be happy to play him, but he's my third sub because my bench is so good. And then I ended up needing a defender sub to come on because Reguilon didn't play when Spurs finally got a clean sheet in the league. He doesn't play against Burnley. I mean, that was one of the most guaranteed clean sheets around. And I think he basically didn't play because of his height, right? I'll talk about him a bit more in a minute. Then Mitchell comes on, loses his clean sheet. Morpay can't score against West Brom. Salah, I mean, how close did Salah come, right? That offside was so close. It would have been a Trent assist. Fair enough, he was offside, but then he goes and hits the post. He gets through on goal, chips over the keeper, and just hits the post. And I thought that was in. I was watching. I thought, this is it. You know, I'll take anything at this point. And in Grealish, also, chance cleared off the line. I mean, it was just one of those weeks where nothing went right. Even Kane and Son, right? It took them a long time to get going in that game, and it came off a corner. They barely had a shot in the box in that game, Spurs in general. So, awful week. Right, but I've come off the back of an 83-point wildcard. This team was a wildcard team the week before, 83 points. It's not that bad, right? There's obviously a lot of luck involved in FPL, but I really don't think it was worth 34 points. Let's take a look how it's looking for next week. So this is my defence for this week, and it's such a weird week, right? I've come off the back of 34 points. A lot of the time, when people have low scores, suddenly they want a wildcard, they want a rage transfer, they want to get rid of absolutely everyone. I don't want to get rid of a single player in my team, but as you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen, I've got 2 free transfers, and I don't think I'm in such a position where I can afford to burn one, at least not long term. And I'll talk about that as I go, right? So defence is looking pretty good. Martinez, you know me, never going to be swapped. I'm probably going to say that every week. You know me, no goalkeeper transfers, yada, yada, yada. He's staying. Southampton at home. Hopefully he can get something there, although Southampton were very good against Everton. And ultimately you'd say that Everton better defence than Aston Villa. So Southampton could be decent value there, but it is away. We'll see what Martinez can do. But more than happy for him for now. But obviously frustrating that he conceded against Leeds. Then we've got Dallas in, currently. Leicester at home. Not necessarily the greatest fixture, especially with Vardy back now as well. Obviously got his goal against Arsenal. He's going to be back into the team. So Dallas, but I don't know, there's something about Leeds, right? The amount of chances they create. If Dallas is playing a little bit further forward now with the injuries they got in defence, that could be decent too. So I'm kind of okay playing him this week, right? And I think I've got Mitchell on the bench. Don't really want to play him. I've got Lamptey on the bench. Don't really want to play him this week either. Mitchell versus Wolves away could be okay because Wolves aren't exactly free scoring. But there's still no guarantee that Mitchell is absolutely nailed on. So that's still in the back of my mind. The fact that he played the last 2 games, Van Arnold was on the bench, does kind of put a little bit of positivity in my mind that maybe he'll keep starting. He will continue to be our £4 million defender of choice. But at the moment, he's on the bench. Trent Alexander-Arnold, look, I know people keep looking at my team saying, when are you going to get rid of Trent? When are you going to get rid of Trent? I'm not against getting rid of him, right? If I had a move that I could make up front in my attack where I needed to get some money, I'd probably move him on to Chilwell or Castagna. But I don't need that money. He's got West Ham at home. Antonio in the last 2 games has had to come off as a precaution. There's rumours on Twitter that Antonio's injury is going to be a little longer than first expected. So Moyes kind of played it down a little bit and it made it sound like he'd probably be okay for Liverpool. But the tweets I'm seeing from some pretty legit sources are now kind of saying that maybe it's going to be a bit longer than expected, basically, right? So we're going to have to wait and see. I'm going to wait on the press conference to see what they say. But if Antonio is out, right, West Ham are good. And they'll probably still cause Liverpool some problems. But without Antonio, it's a bit of a different story. Haller will, of course, come in. But he hasn't played many minutes for quite a while now. So I think, you know, I'm more than happy to keep him against West Ham at home. If the next week when he's playing Man City, I need some money, maybe I'll look to take him out. I'll hopefully have 2 free transfers next week as well. But right now, I don't know. I mean, he was close to assisting Salah. I felt Liverpool were a little bit unfortunate to concede the penalty the way they did. If that hadn't gone in, Sheffield United didn't trouble them too much. I thought Sheffield United played well, but in terms of clear-cut chances, there wasn't a huge amount. So West Ham at home, I think that's okay. And Reguilon, like, I cannot tell you how frustrated I am at this, right? I get him in instead of Sice. So I had Sice at 5 million. He's now gone up to 5.3. He's kept 2 clean sheets in a row. Reguilon's got 1 assist and no clean sheets. He didn't bloody play against Burnley, which is so annoying. Now, a lot of that seemed to be down to a height issue, right? Because Burnley's got so, you know, from set pieces and corners, they've got quite a bit of height. Mourinho wanted Ben Davies in there instead. He kind of said that after the game. But Reguilon, we know, I think he is good. I think he's got better delivery than Ben Davies. He's going to get up and down that wing a lot more. And he's probably going to play against Brighton and against West Brom. So I don't really want to get rid of him. But as I'll come to at the end, with my free transfers, I don't have a huge amount to do with them. So I am looking to move him on for Castagna or Chilwell. It probably will be Chilwell because I spoke about him pre-season. Then I didn't bring him in. He continues to get attacking returns. I think with Mendy and Thiago Silva in there, there's going to be plenty of clean sheets as well. So he's the one I'm looking at. But I'll talk more about transfers at the end after we've been through midfielders and forwards. So coming on to midfield, again, there's not really much I want to do with these players. Like Son, Brighton at home, West Brom away, not getting rid for that, right? Same for Kane. The only thing I would say about Spurs players is their fixtures do turn soon. But in game week 9, right, they play Man City. And the way things are going, I actually think that could be quite a good fixture for them playing on the counter. I don't think Man City look right. It looks like Aguero is going to be out for a while. We don't know when Jesus is going to be back. So they're going to have to start playing with false 9s again. And it's all well and good saying that they can do that. And Pep wants and, you know, doesn't mind them playing like that. He would have drilled it into them. But ultimately, right, you look at the underlying numbers, expected goals and stuff like that. They are half this season per game compared to what they were for the whole of last season. So something isn't quite clicking at Man City. They're still a great team. I'm sure they'll do well. But even after that West Brom game for Spurs, I'm probably more likely just to keep the Spurs boys against Man City rather than to go all in on the Man City boys against Spurs, if that makes sense. Ultimately, I don't expect a clean sheet for either side, but probably give myself one more week. Game week 10, that's probably when I'll start to maybe look at getting rid of Son and Kane. But if Man City don't start impressing or Man United don't look great or whatever it might be, I might just end up keeping them, right? It looks so good. Looking on the other side, Grealish was pretty unfortunate not to get some points against Leeds. There was that ball that was cleared off the line by Ayling. Hugely frustrating. Would have loved a goal. He continues to be heavily involved, and the fixtures are so good. There's not really anyone that I want to get rid of him for, right? Foden could be an option, but I'm not sure I'm ready to go back there yet. Maybe in game week 10. And Zaha is the other one, but Zaha's playing Wolves away, right? And so, look, maybe I could say, perhaps I've got it wrong with Zaha. He's on penalties. He's taking shots, he's creating chances. Maybe Crystal Palace will end up scoring not hundreds of goals, but lots of goals this season. But I think Wolves away, there's not many players I would bring in ahead of Wolves away, right? I just think defensively they're extremely good. So I'm not expecting too much from Zaha this week. So certainly not enough to warrant transferring out Grealish. The only one I would consider maybe is Rodriguez if he's injured. So he was obviously yellow flagged going into this game week. Towards the end, Everton had already made 3 subs and he didn't look completely comfortable, but he did play to the end of the game. So I'm going to have to wait and see what Ancelotti says. I do have some concerns over Everton at the moment. So Luca Dean's out now, suspended. Richarlison suspended. Gomez is injured. Coleman is injured. Right, so they're going to have 2 new fullbacks going into this game. They've not got Gomez. Sigurdsson didn't look great. I thought he looked okay in the other couple of games he's played. Did not look good against Southampton at all. Iwobi on that left side is no good either. Maybe Gordon will go and play there instead. He could be better, but who knows. And suddenly they're missing kind of 3 or 4 key players. Right, Calvert-Lewin got 0 service against Southampton. They were just poor. Right, Allen and Decore were in there. They just couldn't cope with Southampton for that whole game. Newcastle away is obviously a bit easier, and I have said before, I do like Everton's fixtures, but there are slight concerns over them. So if there's news that Rodriguez is out, I might look to ship him, but I don't really want to. So I'm hoping he's fit, and I'm hoping that Newcastle away is a bit of an easier game than it was for them playing Southampton. But we'll see how it goes. And then Salah, obviously keeping him. Again, I did say on the captaincy video, Mane, if you had him, might be a better option than Salah, and he did pull through. Salah did come extremely close to scoring a couple of times, though, more so than Mane did. And I think West Ham at home is a pretty decent option for captain. He was always going to be my choice this week anyway. The other options are Son and Kane against Brighton. Now, Brighton are not keeping clean sheets, and West Ham did defend quite well against Man City, but I don't know. De Bruyne wasn't on the pitch from the start. I still don't think... I just don't think it's going right for City at the moment in attack, whereas I do think it is for Liverpool. And I'm not ready to say that West Ham are this great defensive team, like I said before when I captained Kane against them. So Salah is probably going to be my captain. Obviously not looking to get rid of him anytime soon. So defensive midfield, looking pretty good, I'd say. So adding in the forward line, Calvert-Lewin kind of comes under the same lines as Rodriguez. It's going to be difficult for me to get rid of him because I got him at 7 million, same as I got Rodriguez at 7.5. But if Everton don't start to look better, and look, it is just one game, but they are missing key players. How long do I give them? It's Man United after Newcastle. I would start to worry about them a little bit. I don't think I'm in such a position where I can start spending transfers on Everton players just yet, but it's certainly something I'm keeping an eye on. Harry Kane, same situation as Son, not looking really to get rid of him. I do think the Kane and Son thing is so interesting, right? If you haven't already bought them, do you go without for 2 weeks and just hope they don't do anything? Do you bring them in, then look to ship them? Like for me, there's so many options you could go for. You could go to Aguero if he was actually back fit. Even Jamie Vardy, like Leicester's fixtures coming up are not that bad either. So he could be an option around game week 10. You downgrade into a cheap forward and you go up to Sterling in midfield. There's so many options with them. But obviously for the next few weeks I'm looking to keep. So let's kind of talk about transfers. So if I look at this team, right, and I say this player, let's say I only had 1 free transfer, absolutely I would hold. There is no way I'd make a transfer this week. Kane and Son have to stay. Rodriguez and Calvert-Lewin are staying. Salah, Grealish staying. Trent Alexander-Arnold, there's no reason to get rid of him right now. Martinez, same thing. Dallas, okay, Leicester at home might not be the best fixture. So what moves could I make? So Reguilon to Chilwell. I probably would go Chilwell ahead of Castagna, but maybe if I downgrade Trent at some point, I'll get Castagna in. I've talked about Chilwell a lot pre-season. He is someone I wanted in my team, but he was obviously injured. The problem with Reguilon is, right, and this is where it's really, like I've got a bit of a headache for having, basically I've got a headache for having a good team and 2 free transfers, right? How often does that happen in FPL? Not very often. Usually there's a transfer at least that you want to make, or you've only got 1, so you roll it. But this week is a massive headache for me. So Reguilon could go to Chilwell, and longer term, I think he's the better pick. I did say on my wildcard draft, Reguilon was probably the one punt that I made. I was a little bit concerned about it. It hasn't quite worked out. Been a bit frustrating with obviously not playing the last game. But Brighton at home and West Brom away, there could be 2 clean sheets there. And we know he's attacking as well. But longer term after that, I probably don't want to keep him, right? I think Chilwell's a hold essentially, until he gets injured, okay? So I think Chilwell is an okay upgrade there. So I could do that. Other options. I could do Mitchell to Kilman, right? But I'm not even 100% convinced that Kilman is nailed right now. And I'm not convinced that Mitchell's not nailed either, right? The fact that Mitchell's played the last two I've already spoken about, and Van Aanholt's been on the bench, maybe Mitchell is nailed. Maybe he is. We don't know, right? Maybe he's going to keep playing till he does badly or till he gets injured and then Van Aanholt will come in. But it's too early to say. If he plays the next game, that's 3 in a row. Maybe then we think he's nailed. The same with Kilman. What I really want to see with Wolves is Marçal play first. So if Marçal plays, then we get to see if it's Kilman or Seiss at left centre-back. And I think it's far too easy to say, well, Seiss came off in the last game, Kilman played, but Seiss started at left wing-back. So I just don't think that's necessarily a 100% thing that Kilman's now nailed. So I could do that anyway, because most weeks I'm not looking to play Mitchell anyway, so he's just going to be stuck to my bench. And maybe I take the risk, get Kilman, play Kilman ahead of Dallas, because Kilman's got Crystal Palace at home. Probably a better option for a clean sheet. And if I need Dallas to come on for Kilman, I can. And all I've done is just swap my 4 million defenders around. But I don't know. If Mitchell's nailed and Kilman isn't, then I guess I just keep Mitchell. It's just, I don't know. It's a transfer for the sake of it I don't really need to do. But like I've said, I don't really want to get rid of Reguilon either. So that basically leaves one other player, which is more pay. Now, most people will say just go to Antonio. But I've already spoken about Antonio. He might be injured against Liverpool. And to be honest with you, as good as Antonio is, I'd rather have more pay against Spurs than Antonio against Liverpool. Of course, from game week 8, I'm looking to get Antonio in. And maybe I could just do it anyway. But the fitness thing is now a concern. The fact that he's come off in the last 2 games, do I really want to take that risk of getting him in against Liverpool? He gets injured, and then I've got to remove him before he plays Fulham at home. So Antonio's an option. Or I could just go back to Che Adams. But I don't know. Morpay's putting up pretty good numbers. 0.48 expected goals per 90. That's non-penalty goals as well. We know he's on penalties too. The West Brom game, look, I was hoping for something from that. I think he only had 1 shot. So it was a pretty awful game. But I don't know. I just think chopping and changing these cheap strikers all day or every week is just not the way to play it. Because I could just get rid of him, bring Che Adams in. Che Adams stops scoring. Morpay starts. I switch back. And I could be here all day. And Spurs away is obviously not a great fixture. But overall, Brighton's fixtures are okay. So every other game, they've got a pretty good fixture. And I could just hold him through that. And I think for his price, there's not too many other players that are better options. Maybe Foden in midfield. I could switch to 3-5-2. But I just don't think I want to do that because there's so many cheap striker options that I could go to. So that's basically it. That's where I'm stuck. Reguilon to Chilwell, which I think is the best long-term move. But for the next 2 weeks, I would hate watching Spurs without having Reguilon. More pay to Antonio, but let's wait on it. Like, if Antonio's fit, I might consider it. But if he's not, I'll just hold more pay, I think. And then the other option is Mitchell to Kilman. So I'm in that weird situation where I got 3 transfers and I don't want to use them. I could do, like, Lamptey or Dallas up to a different player as well, because I've got 0.5 million in the bank. But I want to keep my structure with 2 cheap defenders. And I kind of want to keep those 2. I don't think there's any point in going to different ones. I just don't think that's worth a transfer. So the Reguilon one's probably my favourite because that is a long-term move. I could just keep Chilwell for a while until maybe I have to get rid of him or he gets injured or whatever. But yeah, I'm kind of stuck. 2 free transfers, nothing I want to do. I don't want to burn a transfer because I just think I don't have that luxury. I don't think my team is quite that good, but it's almost as good as I'd want it to be. But surely this is better than a 34-point week. So Salah captain, transfer might be Reguilon to Chilwell. I'll confirm that on Patreon later on in the week. And obviously I'll be on the deadline stream again on Friday where I'll have all my transfers made too. So check all the links out for that in the description below. Let me know, what transfer should I be making with this team? So that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. Be much appreciated. Hit subscribe. Trying to hit 125k by the end of the season. We've just hit 117k. So thanks very much for your support. It's been incredible this season. If you've not already checked out OneFootball, like I said, what are you waiting for? Completely free app. Link in the description below. Give it a go. Send me a tweet. Let me know what your favourite features are. And lastly, I just want to do a shout out to all the patrons. So we're pushing towards 200 patrons. The support has been incredible. You're going to let me do big big things on this channel, if not this season, next season as well. So the support on there is incredible. If you want to check that out, there's a link in the description below. And a quick shout out to everyone that's signed up as well. Everyone goes up on the Patreon Legends wall once they've signed up. And obviously a shout out to anyone that's new since the last video or stream. So I didn't do a shout out yesterday, but Fraser W, thanks very much for signing up. So if you want to check that out, link in the description below. There's Slack access, WhatsApp access, early team reveals once my transfers and stuff have been made, all my videos converted to podcasts, lots and lots of great stuff under different tiers. So check it out on the link in the description below. Check out OneFootball as well, and I will catch you tomorrow for the game week preview. Thanks for watching.